So, people... Oh, yeah. Went on silent.
Yeah.
Right, Malcolm? I did. Right. So, basically, I've had some funny moments in the massage room. Mm-hmm. Where, like, me and the patient have just been dying, or, you know, there's been some, like, emotional moments, too. And every time I'd go home and I'd tell John about it, I was like, holy shit, why didn't I record that? And then I'm trying to bust further into the comedy world, and I'm like, okay, what do I have available to offer comedians? And this has kind of been it. Like, and Steven, like, Randolph, he was like, next time I host, you're on the potluck. So I'm like, okay, this is working. So.
Well, it's definitely like a hook, you know?
Right.
Everybody and their mother does a podcast now.
I know.
So it's like, I mean, because it's so easy, all you do is you just get some microphones and find a place.
Yep.
And then, but the massage thing is such a great hook, because who the hell says no to a massage?
Frank Castillo, Jeff Ross, yeah.
Well, I mean, who the hell says no that isn't, like if, I mean, Frank, that's weird.
Yeah, he said he'd do my podcast, but he doesn't want me to massage him.
That's so weird.
Well, that would be awkward, unless you're going to massage me, and then let's play that game. All right, so.
Get undressed, get under the sheets. Ooh, you're in for a treat. No, I promise this is not a dream. It's just a happy ending with Joy Eileen. Hi, my happy enders, and now I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to go through all of the sponsors, and if anybody does want to sponsor us, please get a hold of us on either social media or email me at joyshappyendings@gmail.com. Also, if you could like, subscribe, comment on iTunes, that would really help us get us up there. So our sponsors right now are Blue Apron. Blue Apron is an amazing service where they actually go grocery shopping for you, send you the recipe and the food. All you have to do is cook and take the credit for it. BlueApron.com. I love it. They're so simple, and the recipes are really cool, so it almost makes you feel a little fancy. But if you go to blueapron.com/happy endings, which is BLUEAPRON.com/HAPPYENDINGS, you get 30% off your first box. Next, we have Famous Smoke Shop. Famous Smoke Shop is a cigar shop, not those type of smokes, but Famous Smoke Shop, it was nice enough to give us 2 promo codes. So if you use HOT20, which is HOT20, you get $20 off your purchase of $145 or more, or HOT10, which is HOT10, you get $10 off your purchase of $85 or more. Then we have Handy App. Handy App is it's such a cool app, guys, because you can get anything from it. So if you need somebody to clean your pool, clean your house, if you need somebody to patch a wall, help fix something, it's a handyman. It's like the old school guy where, maybe the milkman will start showing up again too. But Handy App, if you use promo code APPSAVE30, which is APPSAVE30, you get 30% off your first booking. And then Shoe Dazzle. I love shoes. Shoes are my thing. Shoes are my jam. So Shoe Dazzle, what you do is you take a quiz and then they send you a shoe every month. So, and you can pause it if you need to, which I don't understand why you'd want to pause getting shoes. But if you use promo code Happy Shoes, which is HAPPYSHOES, you get $10 off your first, or $10. Your first box will be $10. Like, how cool is that? And then Dollar Days is a bulk website. I really, really suggest you go look at this website because you're going to find stuff you didn't know you needed. And you can get shampoo, conditioner. You can just get bulk stuff. It is amazing. And if you go to dollardays.com and use promo code HAPPYEndings20, which is HAPPYENDINGS20, you get $20 off a purchase of $200 or more. Or Happy Ending Ship, which is HAPPYENDINGSSHIP, you get a flat fee of shipping for $9.95. Now, these episodes, I've had these recorded for quite some time. These are open micers and friends and people who are really about to break into the business that helped me start this podcast. So these questions, the interviews are pretty shaky. There's sometimes I don't really know what to do. This is me growing into the podcast, and I feel like the podcast is still growing. So these are really fun episodes. I try to make all my episodes very organic, but I hope you enjoy these, and you can always contact us on social media, email joyshappyendings@gmail.com, and I hope you enjoy.
I guess we should introduce ourselves. Okay, so on the table, I have Isak Allen.
Hello.
And he has been wanting to be on the table for quite some time.
I got a great view of your green toenails right now.
Oh my god, don't look at the other big toe. It's chipped. I went to a water park the other day.
Too late. I already saw it.
Oh, it's freaking me out.
Wait.
Like, I told John, I'm like, we can't have sex until I fix my toenail. Because with my feet up in the air, all I'm going to do is fixate on that chip. I'm like, we would be the worst sex ever.
That's really the difference between, like, men and women right there. Is because, like, a dude could be like, I got my foot cut off yesterday in a tragic accident. And then if they had to have sex and look at their feet, they'd be like, all right, I guess I just don't have a foot now, but let's have sex.
Maybe I can put my stump inside of her.
Yeah, they'd just be thinking of what else can I do this for sexually that isn't too weird?
Right. She bends over. Can I put my stump in her asshole?
I take it this is an explicit podcast.
Yes.
There's a comedian that has, like, a stub arm, and I know a couple open micers that don't like her, and they call her Stub Hub.
No. That's like Brody Stevens' joke.
Is it?
Yeah, he says that he went on a dating site for amputees. And
that's right. That's right.
Hey-yo. You got it.
Hey-yo. Yes. Stay with me.
818 for life.
His act has such a weird flow to it that I don't remember a lot of his jokes. You know
yes.
what I mean? Until he says them again. And I'm like, oh, wait, here it comes.
Right. But, here comes the Linkin Park joke.
Yeah. He never says the one that had me dying when I was in La Jolla. I used to work as a door guy at the La Jolla Comedy Store for like 3 years. And first time he came down, I remember as Brody Stevens came down to headline. And, you know, he's not for every crowd.
No.
Especially like non-LA crowds. Like middle America crowds would just be like, what the fuck's going on over here? Who's this dude?
Right. And he also doesn't know their high schools and mascots. And that's like half his act right there.
Right. So I remember he said a joke that I was in tears because he just slipped it in there. That's the shit that gets me, is shit that's like, it's not even that funny. It just gets slipped in there when you least expect it. And he was just like losing the crowd for a minute. He was like, stay with me, guys. All right, just keep up. I know it's a struggle, but I'm the guy who struck out twice playing t-ball. Stick with me here. And the visual of that got me.
It's just like Argus has his rice joke.
Yes, I love that joke so much.
And, like, you know, I don't know, maybe, like, you feel it too. I know Emily feels it too. Like, half the time you can guess the punchline.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So when he did that, I was not expecting that punchline.
No.
And it hit me in the giggle spot. I'm like, oh my god, that's funny.
Well, that's the thing about people like Argus who write the one-liners. Why I'm jealous of those people, because I'm more of like an abstract thinker when it comes to comedy. Like, what weird places can I take your brain that still make you think it's normal to think the way that I think?
Right.
Like, to me, that's my whole like my whole persona on stage, and just being vulnerable. For some reason, crowds want me to be vulnerable. I've tried the one-liners, and I've even had some good ones, even though I suck at writing them. But like I've had a couple of good ones, and they almost get nothing every time because for some reason, like people see my face and my demeanor, and they're like, "Tell me all of your tortured troubles in your life."
Right.
We want to laugh at them. So, but I like talking about that too. But Argus is like. He helps me a lot with punchlines. I had this one, spoiler alert, I had this bit about a prostate exam where, so the premise is that I was 25, I had a sharpshooting pain, and I had to get a prostate exam.
Seen this before, yes.
Yeah, so you know the bit, right? And so, like, I don't know if you've heard it before, but basically the guy told me to pull my pants down like right away because it could be serious.
Right, it was the first thing he went to.
And I was like, I don't know if I'm in that much pain. And he was just like, do it. It could be like really serious. So I did it. He sticks his digit in my butt. And then he pulls his finger out and he goes, all right, your prostate's fine. Quick, pee in this cup. It could be a kidney stone.
Right.
And the first punchline is, why the fuck was that not option number one? Like, who opens with finger in the ass?
John. No. Sorry.
Yes.
That's why I got married.
That's how he hooked you? Literally?
Yeah. Instead of grabbing me by the pussy like the president, he grabbed me by the butthole.
Grabbed me by the asshole.
Like, all right, that's where we're going.
I wonder if he would have gotten in as much trouble if he would have said that instead of pussy.
I don't know.
Well, it would have opened it up to more people.
That's true.
See?
Everyone has an asshole.
It's all about being inclusive these days.
Exactly.
Whether it be buttholes or vaginas, just be inclusive. But anyway, so Argus, I had this other line about how, and to add insult to injury, when he handed me the cup to pee and he still had the glove on from earlier. Like, as if to say, you know who has the real power here. Third door on the right. Have fun in the bathroom. And Argus goes, I was like, I need a tag. I need like a thing to just cap off the bit. And he goes, you know what you should say? Say these words. And then the worst part was when the nurse came in and looked at me and looked at the other guy and said, who was that guy? And it was just like, fuck, because his brain just works in that way.
Yes, it
like
does.
with the rice joke, I'm like, it's something common. That's what people like him do. They take something that is like really common that people say all the time or observe all the time or do all the time, like a cliche or something, but then they just take it in a totally different direction. So everybody knows the bag of rice thing. You know, everybody who's ever had alcohol knows, like, oh, that's when you get drunk and you drop your phone in water.
Or you jump in a swimming pool. Or you fall in a swimming pool. Yeah.
So basically he just says exactly what everybody is thinking and then just at the end goes, boop.
Got you. Yeah, that little quick turn and you're like, whoa.
Yep.
That I applied for Argus's show, and the application, they send it that day. I don't know if you applied for it, but...
Which, what do you mean, Argus is his podcast?
No, his late night show. Late night starring Argus Hamilton.
I didn't even know he had a late night. I'm so bad at keeping up with people's things, because I'm just Midwesterner, like through and through. I'm just like, can we just like drink and have fun?
This isn't fun. But I'm a writer... by me saying that, and
whatever, you sell books and stuff.
Yeah,
that's dope. That's amazing.
So what they did is they send you the application that day, and you have to write 5 one-line jokes, like late night monologue jokes, and it has to be on something that happened in the news that day, and you had 4 hours to do it. And that was an experiment for me. It was very fun. It was very stressful. I divorced John like 4 times. Because I'd tell him a joke and he'd be like, I don't get it. I'm like, I hate you.
Yeah, I found like... I found like significant others are tough to bounce ideas off of. Because you only confide in them and trust them because you love them. And you've known them for so long. And then you forget like, oh, this person doesn't know a goddamn thing about what I'm talking about.
Yes. Well, see, my thing is, like, John does not hold back, especially with comedy and especially for me. So, like, I'll get off stage and to me, I'm like, holy crap, that was a great set. Like, I'm floating. I'm, like, super high. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
And then he'll be like, yeah, I liked it when you did the joke the other way. And I'm like, why? Give me an hour first. Like, can we not have some post-coital, like, joke telling first?
Here's what you do. You record all your sets.
I do.
And then you just, and then you go, oh yeah? And then you just play it back for him and be like, then why does everybody laugh harder this time?
Boom, motherfucker.
Yeah, I got evidence. Fuck a stenographer. I got the recordings here.
But the sad thing is, more than half the time, he's right. I'm like, fuck, just don't tell me that yet.
Yes, I see.
I'm like, I want some happiness.
Right.
Like, I'm a comic. You know I'm not happy. We have 3 boys.
That's really a great metaphor for marriage, because it's like the other person is simultaneously supporting you while also kind of cutting down your dreams in the moment.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, because he's doing a good thing, but I mean, like, because you're like, he's right. It's just give me a fucking second.
Right.
Like, don't dash it.
Give me a kiss, tell me I did good, and then you can...
Yeah, and then in an hour when I'm home and the kids won't go to sleep.
Right, and I'm reliving my dream in my head and going, you know what, maybe it wasn't the best set. Because when you get off, at first you're like, yes, and then you start doubting everything, and you're like, nobody laughed.
Well, that's what a lot of comics in the 80s, why they all got hooked on coke, is because they would get that high from killing. And comedy, the boom was so big in the 80s, like a crowd, if you could go up and just not pee your pants, a crowd would laugh at you, whatever you said. And so everybody would kill, and then they'd get off stage, and it's like they're riding this high, chicks are talking to the dudes, and, you know, everybody's drinking and having a good time, and then they go, how do I keep this buzz going? Because it's so temporary.
It is.
Like, it goes, and then it fades. That's the issue with, like, what we do, is the instant gratification is why we do it, but instant gratification never lasts.
No.
So you have to keep doing it.
You know what's funny, though, is I was in the green room doing chair massages, and I met Ryan Sickler. And he went out and he went on stage. I couldn't hear what he was saying, but the crowd was just ridiculously responsive to him. And then he came back out, and I go, hey, I don't know what you were saying. I'm all, but good set. And I go, that is my favorite sound in the world. And he looked at me, and he was completely serious, and he goes, that's the drug.
Yeah.
And I stopped, and I go, you want to hear the weird thing about that? And he's like, what? And I go, I've never done any type of drug in my life.
Really?
And I go, this is the only drug I've ever chased.
Yep.
And he's like, then that means you have it bad.
It's an addiction, because if you don't... So tell me this, Joy, because I bet I could guess the answer. Do you get, like, jittery and, like, irritable when you don't get on stage for, like, 3 days?
Yes.
It's and you don't even, you're not consciously aware of it. You're just like, why am I a dick today?
You know what? That's when John's like, you need to go do an open mic with the kids. Like, he's kicked me out of the house. He's made me call Emily many times, and he's like, just call Emily and go out. I'm like, oh, okay.
We're going to Flappers.
We're going to Flappers. Give me that magic talking stick, please.
Yeah, the magic. That's what a microphone really is. Jason, Tebow, and I we were making each other laugh on the way up to, or down, I guess. Down, I don't know, to the Hermosa Beach. Down to the Hermosa Beach show that Mary runs.
Yes, I got to open that show once.
Oh, it's a fun show.
It is such a fun show.
Yeah, you get a little bit of cash, you get fed, it's great, it's outdoors, everybody's happy to be there.
Wait, huh? A little bit of cash. Wait, what?
Well, I don't know.
No, I was the opener. I didn't get anything.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
okay.
It was like $20. It was like, it's just off tips, basically.
Right.
And it was that feels really good, by the way, because I have sciatica. Well, it's on the right. It's on the right side, but
I can feel. Yeah.
No, but anyway, I did that show. And Tebow and I were joking around about, like, because I go, the mic drop is cheesy, so we need to do a one-up on that. Like, what? So I said the version of my mic drop now would just be kill so hard, get a standing ovation, take the mic out of the stand, unplug it, drop the cord, and then pocket the mic and walk off the stage. And then he one-upped me because his was way better. He goes, nah, man, mine is kill so hard, get the standing ovation, go back behind the curtain, pull out some shears, clip the mic cable, and just walk away.
Stick it in your back pocket.
Just so they have to get a new cable if someone wants to go on stage. I was like, that is perfect.
Oh, you win. And then you have a herpes-filled mic in your back pocket.
I saw an open micer the other day who was scratching his beard with the mic when he was trying to think of what to say. And I was like, can we make, like, laws against that shit?
I've seen Bobby Lee put it all the way to the back of his throat.
Oh, God.
And I'm all... In the original room, I'm all, oh my God, that's the potluck mic. Like, holy crap.
We're degenerates, don't do that.
I'm just, like, because of that now and how sick, that comics don't stay home sick, they go out and just get every other comic sick.
The comic flu is going around right now really bad.
That's what, I'm like on the tail end of it. I'm like about to be done with it, but it still sucks. Basically now I just never eat the mic anymore. Which actually is good, because then it gives you start learning how to have freedom with your limbs and be more relaxed instead of holding it up to your face the whole time. And then I just do that and talk louder.
Right, just project more.
Yeah.
That was the thing that I found. I went and did an audition at the Ice House, and they didn't have a microphone, and everybody was really, really befuddled by that. But I came, I've done theater, and so I was like, just talk loud.
Right.
What was the audition for?
Well, it made it sound like it was your first step to get past. Like to start getting like development spots or something like that.
Right.
But it turned out just to be a bringer show.
Yeah, that's what happens. That's why I asked, because the Ice House is it's an amazing club. You never have a bad show at the Ice House. Like, if you have a bad show, well, I mean, obviously, I don't know what happens when there's no microphone.
Yeah.
But the crowds are so hot there all the time. It's just crazy. Like, you could just go up on stage and just like fart into the mic 8 times and get a standing ovation. Like, it's crazy.
I've never been to the Ice House.
You got to do a show there.
I need to do that.
Hit up, what is this guy? I think his name is Jan. He books a show, pay you like $30, and it's, I think it's called Down and Dirty.
Okay.
And it's for if you have a lot of like dirty, like blue material. It's like good for that. And I don't have a lot of blue material. I'm actually predominantly clean, but I can like raunch it up.
Right.
You know? So I've done that show a few times, and I always have a good set. Last time I did it, it was the first time was in the main room there, and the second time was in that little side room. And the second time my mom was there with me, and my ex-wife was like trying to text me about stuff, and I was like, look, I'm with my mom right now, so I'm not going to focus on this. As you could probably guess, I'm going through a hard time since you were the cause. I didn't say that she was the cause of that, but I was just, it's implied.
She knows.
I'm like, yeah, you know, bitch, come on.
You got it.
And
you know you.
She sent me this like long, nasty like text, and I was like, this is great. I'm going on stage in like 10 minutes, so I'm just going to go on there and read this and do like play-by-play commentary of like what I was thinking as I'm reading it. And my mom was in the crowd, and like the crowd just loved it. They loved it. That when you go through shit like that, the rawness, the crowds will love. Even though what you're saying might not be that clever or funny or smart, you'll get big laughs because of the rawness. It's then when that emotion fades, then you're like, oh, I gotta write jokes to this.
Right.
Like, I gotta take what I've been doing and use that as a jumping off point for actual punchlines.
And form it. Yeah. That is so funny because, like 3 weeks ago, I just got pulled from the bucket, and John calls me, and I'm like, why is John calling me? He never calls me when I'm on open mic. So I grab my phone, and he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I just got my name pulled from the bucket. And he's like, never mind. And I'm like, what? And our middle son has ADHD, and every once in a while he has his little meltdowns.
Yep.
And John's like, he's just having a meltdown. I didn't want to kill him, so I decided to call you. And I'm like, do I need to come home? And he's like, no, do your set. You're fine. We've got it. I got him calmed down. I just wanted to hear your voice for a minute. And then he hangs up. And they're like, okay, welcome to the stage, Joy Eileen. And I'm like,
Right.
So I got on stage, and I'm like, I need to go. And they're all laughing, and I go, yeah, my son has ADHD, and I'm all, and fuck that. And there's this chick on Facebook, and it was like so raw, and it was just like bouncing back and forth, and I'm all, there's this stupid chick mom on Facebook who talks about how there's no such thing as ADHD, and it's just because we don't feed our kids real food, we feed them processed food, and we don't make them play outside enough. And I was like, fuck her. That woman, her hair's done, her makeup's done, she's probably showered today, and I'm all, how nice do you think my life would be if all I had to do is shove a piece of broccoli down my kid's throat and make him go ride his bike for an hour?
Yeah.
I'm like, how nice her life must be if cauliflower solves her goddamn life. And like, I was just so frustrated, and I got off stage, and it was Malcolm. He came up to me and gave me a hug, and he's like, damn. And I'm all, yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that. And he's like, no, it was good. And I'm all, okay. I'm like, all right.
Yep, it's always good in that moment. Like, no one will really, like, there's no jokes to, like, remember. Because people, that's what they remember, is jokes. But people will remember, like, they enjoyed you.
Right, and seeing me have a meltdown on stage.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, now I get to go home and deal with that.
Oh, dude, my wife, the weekend she asked for a separation on a Saturday, and then the next Sunday asked for a divorce, like literally the next day. And so I had to go on the road to Sacramento that I think Thursday or Friday, literally that following week. So I was like, it's kind of perfect timing. Like I just needed to get out of the fucking apartment. You know, that we were no longer going to be living it together.
Right.
So I was just like, I can't hang around this area. And then I got a thread in my mouth. Hold on. There we go. And then I went there and I was like doing 5 minutes of like my act or whatever I was featuring. So I was killing. I was doing great. And then I just like looked at the crowd. The laughter died, and I just was like, in my head, I was like, I can't not talk about it. Like, it's so recent. And so I just looked at the crowd and I go, all right, guys, I'm going to level with you real quick. I don't want to talk about anything that I've prepared because my wife just asked for a divorce like 5 days ago, and I'm not sure like where I stand right now. And the crowd just got like really quiet, and a couple people gasped, and I was like, ooh, this is an interesting energy.
Right? Let me play with this.
Let me play with this a little bit. And I ended up coming up with this. I already had an idea for a bit, but that was where I first tried out the Hercules. I don't know if you've heard me do the Hercules bit.
I don't know if I've seen you like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah. I've kind of not done as much of the divorce stuff lately because I'm just like writing other stuff that I really enjoy.
Right.
And, like, I'm feeling good about it. But that was the first time I tried the bit, and the bit was basically how you learn so many things about yourself going through divorce. And I was like, at the moment, I was going through it. So I was like, I'm learning that the worse the breakup, like the bitchier the music I listen to at the gym when I'm working out.
Right.
Because like any other breakup, I'm lifting weights to like Usher's You Got It Bad. Or I'm like bench pressing to Boyz II Men End of the Road. Or something. I'm like, but this is my first marriage and divorce at 30. Like, I'm on a treadmill running to Disney's Hercules. I'm like running. I'm like, I will find my way. I can go the distance. I don't care. I'm just weeping in front of grown men like twice my size. I'm just like, I don't even give a shit.
Don't look at me.
Yeah, no, I look at it and then I make like direct eye contact with them, and I'm like, this is what a real man goes through. Crying on a treadmill in front of other men.
Listening to Disney.
And I just like kind of winged that joke right like in Sacramento, and all of a sudden it was just like murdered. Like people were like rocking back and forth in their seats laughing, and I was going, I'm not used to getting this kind of laugh. Like I've killed before, but there's something different about these laughs I'm getting, and I like it a lot. It's more meaningful. Whatever these laughs are, they're more meaningful. I can't describe it. It's just that it's like people aren't just laughing, like they're throwing their head back and like shaking their head, like they're replaying every bad decision they've ever made in their life.
Like I've been there.
Some people are leaning forward with their hands on their knees, like laughing, but with their head in their hands. So you can't tell if they're crying or laughing.
Right, both. A little bit of both.
And I was just like, this is what I want from now on. I want these laughs.
I love that. So when did you start comedy?
I started comedy about 6 years ago. So 2000 and, 18 right now? So 2012-ish.
Okay.
In San Diego. And because I gave up on doing music, basically. And I still was doing music stuff, too. And, like, even while I had done stand-up, I was doing, I went to Ecuador to play with my band.
Okay, I was going to ask, because you have the tattoo.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so okay, we'll get back to the comedy stuff. But what music, when was that? How does that? Like, what kind of music?
So I've been basically playing, like, percussion and drums and stuff since I was, like, in like, middle school, basically.
Okay.
And I've always been a drummer at heart, but I knew melody and theory from, like, learning how to play the xylophone and marimba and all that stuff, so that makes you a really good asset as a drummer to know melody, because then you understand when other people are playing, they want you to be less busy or more busy, and you kind of understand exactly what they want. Because they're like, oh, I'm switching. It's a 1-4-5 progression. We're gonna go, C, F, G. So I go, oh, so like basically like pop drums. Like you want something just basically 4 on the floor, and they're like, oh yeah, because I get what 1-4-5 is.
Okay.
It's in like 97% of songs on the radio. Okay. That's like the progression they use. So I studied music in high school. I was in drumline.
So you went to band camp?
And went to band camp.
I went to band camp too.
I didn't finger anybody.
I passed out in band camp.
Yeah, there was a few of those because where were you? Hold on. So where did you live when you were doing band camp?
Madera. So Fresno? You know Fresno?
Yeah, Fresno.
Yeah, you were just there.
Yeah, it was fun.
You didn't die.
I didn't die. I thought I was going to. It was like 100 and, what does it say, 105 was like what it got to eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, so, wait, where were we? We were...
Band camp.
So, band camp, yeah. It was the same in Indiana, except it was humid. Like, at least Fresno was, like, dry.
Right.
But band camp in Indianapolis was, like, it was humid, and it was the same temperature as Fresno. It was, like, 103.
Yuck.
So, we're out on the... And we mark our charts on the parking lot out in the...
You guys didn't even get the football field?
Nope. That was, like, for certain... Like, when we were getting ready to do a big competition, they'd let us use the field.
Uh-huh.
Because it's just a lot harder to march. You know how it is, a lot harder to march on the field than the parking lot.
It is, yeah.
But we also needed a place where we could write down our charts with glass chalk.
Uh-huh.
For those listeners out there who don't know what charts is, that's where you have to start and stop when you walk and move.
Because you're in formation.
Yes, and if you overshoot, you look really dumb sticking out of the formation, or you'll run into someone with a flute.
Or a flag, because I was the color guard. I was color guard.
It was funny when people got hit with those. Not at the moment, because you're like, are you okay? And then they would be like, yeah, I'm okay. And then you start laughing at them.
Hit a couple people with my flag.
Yeah.
Me included.
Yeah, I've seen that happen. That's why I'd be too scared to use the rifles or the sabers.
The sabers.
Because the sabers, man, those things, just catching them with your hands hurts bad enough.
Yes, and then you put the rubber bands on them so they snap really hard.
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh, band camp.
I know, right? But our feet would literally, when we'd be standing at attention, and band camp would be in the middle of August, so you'd be standing on the asphalt, and like you could feel your feet start to like sink into the asphalt.
Uh-huh.
Just these drums, I got these like 50-pound drums on, and I'm just like sweating. That's probably where my lower back problems come from.
That
It's just from doing band camp, or doing drumline for 4 years, carrying, I was fourth bass drum for 2 years, and then I was quads for 2 years, and drum captain my senior year. And we won 2 national titles.
Nice.
Marching band, yeah.
Go Indiana.
It's freshman year and senior year, so I came in with a bang, and I went out with a bang.
Nice.
Yeah.
I only did it my junior year, and then I was like,
It's not for everybody.
No, because we were all in a line. Fuck. So we were all in a line, and the band director was like, don't lock your knees because you'll
pass out. Yeah.
I passed out while, like, seriously.
In the middle of him saying that.
And according to everyone, I did like a full circle with my feet planted. So I just like went all the way around, and then I hit the grass and bounced 3 times. Wham, wham, wham.
Jesus.
And then the band director is all like that. And then the female band director turns me around. No, I must have been a freshman. Yeah, freshman, sophomore. She turns me around and she looks at me and she goes, are you pregnant? And I go, how long was I out? And what did you do to me? Like, I was like, fuck, Rosemary's Baby was inserted in me while I was passed out. And I'm like, I'm still a virgin. And then all of the flute players and drummers were like, she's a virgin. I gotta get her. And I'm like, did you guys inseminate me while I was passed out? Like, I was so confused. And then she's looking at me like, why?
Did you really say that to her?
Yeah, I did. I was like, how long was I out?
That's so hilarious.
Yes.
Who put a baby in me while I was sleeping? Because that's what happens in the world. Everybody knows that.
Is my name Rosemary now? Like, do I just change my name immediately? Like, what is it?
My hair really short.
Is a demon with a flute gonna come out of me? Like,
Demons carry piccolos.
Oh, look at you, demon expert. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not up on my demonology.
No, it's alright. I know plenty about demons. I don't know why I said that. That doesn't make any sense.
You're really relaxed.
I was trying to be like, I was trying to just be like really weird for a minute, and it worked.
Okay, yeah.
But I couldn't commit to it hard enough to keep it going.
Just lay there and look pretty.
pretty with my man bun.
Pretty with your man bun. Okay, so music.
Yeah, so music was, it was like the one thing I could always go back. I was like super serious for a while about it, to the point where it annoyed people. Because anyone who's like super serious about music, it's just annoying. Where they're just like, oh, excuse me, but that's actually influenced by the Baroque period. And you're like, hey, how about you shut the fuck up forever?
I'm going to go jump off a bridge and die.
By the way, I did come up with so during the day I work with adults with disabilities.
Uh-huh.
And my client has mild autism and bipolar disorder. Also has severe ADHD, so I know exactly what you're talking about with that. Oh, he's 21 and has never had sex, but
totally date him,
right? I hope you love Disney quotes.
That's my type right there. You're just turning me on.
But he loves comedy. That's why they put me as his coach, because they knew I was a comedian and that he would love me right off the bat, which he did. And so he loves clean comedy. He hates like anything like R-rated. He's like, I'll just censor it in my head. I'm like, okay. But I told him, so he likes when I come up with like dad jokes. I'll come up with these little dad jokes and tell him. And I'm trying to remember the one I told him where I said something like, why couldn't a mid-century cellist play his instrument? And then he said, why? And I said, because it was Baroquin.
Right.
And he thought that was like the funniest thing. And I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of proud of it. I'm kind of proud of that joke.
I was going to say, that's No, in Disney and Beauty and the Beast, he's taken Belle through the mansion, because I'm a mom, and I watched Beauty and the Beast way before I had kids. And he goes, yeah, this was from the Baroque period. And as you know what they say, if it's not Baroque, don't fix it. Mm-hmm. And that was from the Cogsworth.
Oh, that was a Cogsworth line?
That was a Cogsworth line.
Now I don't feel so... Oh, wait, that's what my client said, too. He goes, oh, I know about the Baroque period. I get it. And I go, really? And he goes, yeah, from Beauty and the Beast. And I was like, I have no idea what he's talking about.
See, I told you, him and I would get along. John, you're out.
No, but it's crazy because I love all that Disney stuff.
Like Batman?
Yeah.
Because I do have the Batman tramp stamp.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
It's the bat signal.
It's right above the bat cave.
Whenever, hold on, wait, I got one. So whenever your husband is behind you and you're like, hey, don't put it in my ass, and he's like, all right, I won't do it, and then you turn around and you go, swear to me.
Promise. Swear to me, Robin.
You want to hear the grossest joke I ever told?
Yes, I do.
It's so dumb.
All I know is this needs to start being in every podcast that I do. I need to know the grossest joke every comedian on the table has told.
Yes.
Did you feel that pop?
I did feel that pop. That was a good one.
Alright, so I used to do this bit on stage. It was so dumb. It actually worked pretty well, but it was just so dumb and gross I stopped doing it. I go, I like to go down on a woman when she's on her period, because I have a little fun with it. I go down, and then I turn my head to the left, and I turn my head to the right, and then I come up, and I go, why so serious? It's so stupid, but it made me laugh a lot.
I'm trying to think of the dirtiest joke I've told, and there's so many. Mine are just super inappropriate. Like, I talk about, like, selling my kid's butthole to the highest bidder.
Probably.
The pedophile. And then all these comics are like, Joy, you took it too far. I'm like, bitch, you're comics. You can't afford my kid's asshole anyway. Like, calm down.
Wait, so how long have you been doing stand-up?
It's kind of weird. So I did it for my 32nd birthday, just because I wanted to. So 5 minutes, haha, comedy, $5. And then I didn't do it for years later. And then I was massaging a guy, and we were just having so much fun on the massage table, joking around, not that type of fun. And he's like, Joy, you're so funny. And he's like, you're so fast. He's like, you need to do comedy. And I'm like, hey, I tried it once. And he's like, what about it? And I'm like, it was fun. Like, I did 5-minute set. First time I got on stage, I did not bomb. And he was like, you need to take stand-up classes. And I'm like, oh, all right, whatever. And then the next day he called me and he's like, hey, I got you in a stand-up class. His name's Tom Clark. He's super awesome. And then I did stand-up with Tom Clark. I did two of his classes. I did 101 and 102. And then I showcased at the Improv. And that was like 2 years later, so 34. And then like 35, I would do like maybe a show every 2 months at Flappers. And then this year in January, John's like, Joy, I have your New Year's resolution. And I'm like, bitch, if you tell me I need to lose weight, I'm going to stab you with this fork after I eat this cake.
I would think you would know better.
Yeah, just in case. And then he's like, no, you need to start doing more comedy. He's like, you enjoy it, you have fun doing it. He's like, but this doing it twice a month or once a month every 2 months or something, whatever. Yeah. And then I started doing open mics. Like, he actually got online and found open mics for me. And then we started hanging out more at the Comedy Store and getting to know all the door guys. And you guys are amazingly nice to us. And, you know, the door guys are kind of starting to take me under their wing. And then I just, out of the whim, because I kept telling people, I was like, my first Netflix special is going to be me pulling people out of the audience and massaging them. and then just doing crowd work on them. And then somebody's like, you know, are you ever going to do a podcast? And I'm like, well, I have this podcast idea where I massage comedians. And then I was like batting it around. And then finally the guy who gave me that microphone, he's like, you're massaging me, we're recording it, and you're going to start your podcast. And then I started doing that. And now I've been in like green rooms and doing massage in green rooms. I got to massage Wanda Sykes. Totally dorked out on Maz Dabrani.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you told me about that.
So now it's like massage now with comedy, and now I'm getting in further with comedy, so it's just been a weird...
Yeah, it's the way that you get in with comedy is so crazy.
Yeah.
It's so particular just to like you. It's like everyone thinks there's some... That's what I learned is when people say there's a certain formula, like I don't believe them unless they're like an 18-year veteran headliner that knows their shit.
But even then, in 18 years, it's changed.
Yep. I mean, if you're going to just do clubs around the country, it's all kind of the same. But even then, it's like, you know, you have Instagram stars that think they can do 20 minutes of comedy that sell out clubs on the road and then bomb for 20 minutes.
Jeremy Piven. Sorry.
Yeah, he's fucking terrible, dude.
We just watched him last night, and
I saw him live one time, and Joy was like, what, he does comedy? And I was like, yep, looked it up. I'm like, oh my gosh.
And then I was like, wait, I still haven't seen him do comedy yet, so...
It's not good. It's like watching a person from the Special Olympics try and play in the actual Olympics.
Right?
Like, it's like, oh, he's got some of the skills, but they're just underdeveloped.
And the whole thing was, he was waiting for the celebrity. Like, I'm a celebrity, I'm going to get the celebrity laughs, which a lot of it he did.
Yeah. But he at least was like, I'll give him this. He, knows he sucks. Like
does he?
He does. Like,
okay, well,
I've heard him talk about it, but the other problem is he'll talk shit about other successful comics. Like, oh, they're only, successful because of this and that, and it's like I think he's like, I don't know, I don't want to speak out of turn, but I think he's got beef with D'Elia. Like he talks shit about D'Elia, and I'm like, look, D'Elia's not my favorite. I don't think any of his jokes are really that great, but he is an undeniable beast of comedy. Like everything works for him. He's got the funny voice, he's got the funny mannerisms, he's got the energy, he's got the inflection, he's got the laugh,
he's got the confidence,
and he's got and then there's he at least sells jokes really well and can have some really decent punchlines.
Right.
So
don't kick me.
No, I won't. Okay. But if you ever watch his 5 minutes he did on Lopez Tonight, it was years ago. That was one of that's hands down my favorite set I've ever seen of his.
Which one's that? Because I've seen the Cuban one. That one makes me good. And the drunk girls.
Yeah, that's
where do I park? Because I say that all the time. Where do I park?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the Lopez Tonight. He did some bit about Japanese people always add syllables to words, because he talked about recording his voice and I have to do laundry, recording on the thing, be I have to do laundry, click, and then he every time he plays it back, he just hates his voice. Mm-hmm. And every time he plays it back, he's I have to do laundry at 3 p.m. He's when did I become a Japanese man on the other side of this recording? And then he goes into this bit about Japanese people adding syllables. So he goes, you know how they say McDonald's? They say Macadonalds. And he's like, yeah, they just added, I like a chicken the nuggets and the fries on the Macadonalds.
And his voice is fantastic.
Right. And he's got the great voice, because I'm a Japanese. And he just does all this stuff. And then he switches into talking about gangsters and listening to rap music. And he goes, why do they always laugh at the beginning of tracks? Now that's the thing. Where you'll just hear at the beginning of a track, you turn it on, track 1. And it's just oh no, here it comes. And it's what happened before this? I want to hear what happened before. Why is this guy laughing at the beginning of the track? You should have hit record earlier, because I want to hear who told a joke in the studio.
I need that part.
Right. And then he's just and then they'll blame you for stuff. They'll be oh no, not another one. And you're yes, another one. That's why I bought the album. That's why I have it.
I didn't buy a single.
Yeah. But anyways, I'm not going to sit here and just do his whole 5 minutes. But that was my favorite set of his. It was the perfect combination between his persona and the jokes and his voice and all that stuff.
Okay, now let's get back to how. Okay, so you, because I interrupted you because I had to know about music. Comedy. How did you start?
Depression.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that if you really dig into it, 100% of people. That kind of hurts. 100% of people that start comedy do it because of some sort of depression.
I completely concur.
Yeah. Even if you're like a generally upbeat person and you're starting comedy, it's like there's something about just hating everything that makes you start comedy. Like about your life. Not just like indiscriminately hate everything, but just be like, this. I don't like where my life is. I don't like where it's headed. I don't like the people around me.
I don't like who I am.
I don't like who I am. And you just, when you think about that,
And
for
my kids
some
suck.
reason,
No.
yeah, my kids, I'm going to sell them to an orphanage. But you end up just, for me I was working like what was supposed to be a 9 to 5 that ended up being like a fucking like 6 to like 8. Like it was just like 14-hour days. It was a shitty lab job. I was making okay money and I was surviving fine, but I was just like drinking all the time because like it was the only way I could cope with like just like, going to work and being in this mundane life now. Like I had no girlfriend. She had just moved. She moved, where'd she move to? Pennsylvania to Teach for America. And like I literally, like, it was one of the saddest days. Like I was really, we were already said we love each other and all this stuff, and then she was debating not taking the gig because she was gonna stay and keep dating me. And I was like, it was literally like rom-com shit. Like I shot myself in the foot because I was like, you know what, you do what's right for you. I would never be, like, I'd never get rid of the guilt if you stayed for me and this didn't work out. And I just have to be, like, the bigger man and just say, you do what you have to do regardless of me.
Right.
And so she was like, I really appreciate that. I think I'm going to go. And I was like, well, Isaac, you dumbass, you fucked that one up. And so I literally, like, drove her to the airport and, like, watched her flight, like, leave. Like, it was just the saddest fucking thing.
And this wasn't the ex-wife, right?
No. This is way before that.
Okay.
And so I ended up, it was some other white girl. And
Fucking white girls, they all look the same.
no, they don't all look the same. They all act the same.
Okay.
I'm in a rut, is what I'm trying to tell you, Joy.
Touché.
I'm in a white girl rut here. And I have a crush.
We are like potholes.
Yeah. Just poking holes in all the wheels.
Well, then we need to talk later, and I'll tell you where you should poke holes, and maybe the white girls will stay.
Yeah. Or I could just stop dating white girls.
That's true. If you ever need a wing woman, I am fan.
Are you good?
Oh, yeah.
Because here's the thing. I always fuck up. Because I always project my insecurities. So I just end up going like, that chick doesn't want me. And then later I find out like, dude, that chick really wanted to bang you.
She wanted you
and
to touch her pothole.
Yeah, exactly. She wanted me to fill her pothole.
And grab her by the butthole.
Grab her by the puss butt hole. Like a
So you're just going bowling with white girls now.
Just bowling white chicks. It's going to be the name of my first special.
There you go.
Bowling white chicks. And then, but yeah, so I ended up, she left. Obviously, we broke up. And then I cried like a bitch on the way home from the airport. And then I got that job. And it was fine at first because I just needed something to make money. And then I just ended up hating that job. The music thing was kind of like faltering. I hadn't really made it the way I thought I would at that point. And I was just depressed. And I remember always enjoying stand-up. And I always liked watching it. And I was enamored by bits. Like, I'm one of those people that, as soon as I saw stand-up, I knew what bits were. You know, like there's those people that look at it and they just go, oh, it's just a guy being funny. And you're like, that's not what it is. Like, I could recognize that. Oh, there's a punchline. Oh, there's a setup. And so I started writing down these little stories and these jokes that were terrible and shitty and they were not good. But I literally drove by the Comedy Palace in San Diego, which is like a B club there. It's one of my favorite clubs there. It's so much fun. You get the weirdest clientele out there sometimes too, which makes it even more fun.
That's why I like Hooters on Hollywood.
Dude, that one's great. I love that show.
They just shut it down.
What?
Yeah.
Like the Comedy Chow show and like Steven's show, they shut it down?
It's gone.
What the fuck?
They got new management and they want the top room for football.
Oh, get the fuck out of here. That's what the bottom room was for.
I know. It was my favorite. Honestly, that stage is where I felt most comfortable.
It's a ghetto OR.
Yes.
It's what it is.
It's my favorite.
It was the best. That's sad.
Sorry, I didn't mean to break you down.
Oh, that's fine. It just like, it bums me out when a good show, like shows, pop up and go down like fucking whack-a-mole. But when it's a good show, it makes you feel really bad.
I agree. Okay, so you're driving by Comedy Palace. Sorry, I didn't mean.
Drive by the Comedy Palace. I looked at it. I looked at my little notebook where I write down my dumb thoughts, and I just went, fuck it. And I did like a U-turn, and it just happened to be open mic night that night. Faraz Ozel was hosting.
All right.
This was back when he was like nobody too. He was just like local hotshot. Like he was local funny guy. And I remember he just was like, yeah. I was like, can I actually go up tonight, or do I have to sign up? And he was like, no, you can just sign up here. You'll just be way down the list. And I go, okay, that's fine. Like I think that helps that I had a good attitude about it. Like because you know how annoying people can be, but sometimes I give people the benefit of the doubt when they just start. Like if I'm hosting and they got a lot of questions, because I'm like, they just don't know yet. They don't know the etiquette. But so many comedians can be so judgmental, like, ugh, I'm never going to put that guy on stage. He's just always asking me, da-da-da. It's like, just to be honest with these fucking people.
Exactly.
Like, we're all common, so I just go, like, when people bother me, I go, look, man, I'll get to you when I get to you. Just to let you know, if you want to get up, it's probably best not to come bother me when you see that I'm busy. And then they'll be like, oh, shit, sorry, my bad. And you're like, no, it's cool, just now you know.
Right, now
so
you've been aware.
Yeah, if you do it again, then I'll be annoyed. So he threw me up. There was actually like 20 real people in the crowd at the open mic. It was weird. And so I went up and I was deathly nervous for the first 3 seconds. Because with music, you can have like guitars and drums cover up, like if you fuck up a lyric or whatever, or if the drummer kind of misses a beat or a stick falls out of his hand, like the other instruments still go.
And plus you have something to lean on. When you're up there, it's just you and the magic talking stick.
Yep. So, but as soon as I started speaking my first words, it was fine. And I did 5 minutes, and the material was god-awful, but I got last because I knew stage presence through doing music, so I could sell it. I sold the jokes, the terrible jokes, and I had a decent set. And like you said, I got that high, that buzz, and that was it. I was just like, I called one of my friends who lives here in LA now, and I was just like, I have to keep doing this.
Yep.
He was like, oh, you did stand-up? And he started doing stand-up like a year before that. And I go, yes, and I don't want to stop.
Yeah.
I never want to stop doing this. This feeling, whatever this is,
I want it.
I want it forever.
It's fine. No, I completely understand that. But I agree, like, you go in different ways. Like the Hermosa Beach show, Eric and I were talking, and he's like, hey, are you going to the Hermosa Beach show? And I'm like, oh yeah. I'm all, John and I love that show. We love support. And we like to support people. I like seeing people succeed. I mean, if they deserve it.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And then Eric looked at me and he goes, you know what? I'm going to let you open. I'm going to give you 5 minutes. And I go, I didn't ask for it because I didn't want him to think I was that type of person.
Right.
That's why I'm giving it to you, because you weren't asking. You were genuinely going to support me and be there. And I'm like, I love that show. I love Mary and Donald. And he's like, yeah, you're opening. And I'm like, okay. So I've gone about it like really slowly and low key.
Yeah, you're doing it the right way. You're not imposing, but you're being there.
Right. And I'm doing it my way.
And you're engaging people.
It's the way other people should do it, but this is the way I feel comfortable. I feel good about myself when I go to bed at night. Kind of, maybe. Well, at least this aspect of it. And, I'm like, okay, I didn't palm, I didn't bug, like, I'm cool. And when I do get spots, I'm like, okay, I feel good. Like, I'm good.
See, it's a little harder for me, because I found the way that I get into things with people, like, get into it, is people can read me like a book. Like, whatever even if I'm like trying to act happy, like, people can tell when I'm sad. Like, I wear my emotions on my sleeve, and I wish I could hide it better, but I just can't.
And that's you.
And so what I literally had to do was just like, even when I was acting like, hey, whatever, in the parking lot, if I was working a lot or talking to paid regulars, they could still feel it. And I talked to some door guys about it, and they're like, no, Isaac, you have a great vibe, like, when you're around people, but when you start to get bummed out, it's like really, basically they were saying, like, it's really bums everyone else out, and they just don't want to be around you. And I'm like, well, but I'm not really bummed out. And they said, we can tell. Like, so I've literally, why I say it's harder, what I had to do is I literally had to change my perspective on life to, like, start getting people to actually want to be around me.
Okay.
So I've just started embracing the struggle more, and I know that's like the fucking cheesiest white girl, #embrace the struggle.
But it's true, though.
Yeah, you have to. And, like, it was really because Eric Myers, which I told you about how he was crashing with me because he relapsed again, and I let him stay with me to detox and sweat it all out, and we went out for coffee to write jokes and stuff, and that guy writes for an hour a day. That's why he's so fucking good, by the way.
For him.
He's 18-year vet, and he writes for an hour a day.
Yes.
But he kept telling me, he was like, Isaac, I've known you since you were like 3 years into doing comedy. You're like from San Diego, is where I met him. And he's like, now you're working up here. You earned it. You deserve it. He goes, you're complaining to me about all these, how do you get spots, and you don't want to be jealous of other people, but you always end up there because it's just hard not to sometimes when you're around it, and you're funny and stuff. And he goes, look, just embrace, like, you're funny enough. Just talk to these people. Be persistent. Like, don't back down. And when don't take no for it. Like, for the, people are going to brush you off the first time. A lot. Probably the second, third, and fourth time. And he was telling me all these stories about, how long it took him to get passed and at the store, and how to become a regular headliner at these other clubs. And he was like, I was sending emails out like crazy and just getting rejected. And he's like, dude, I've been doing this 16 years. How is this happening? And he's like, then eventually you just wear them down. And I'm like, well, I don't think that way because I'm a Midwestern kid who just likes to, I don't want to impose on anyone. And he's like, well, then you better get used to it because they know what the deal is. These bookers, these people, like, they know what it is, and they're trying to test you.
Right.
And so he just gave me a lot of insight on, like, just embracing the bullshit you're gonna have to go through because you're funny enough, and you know that, so you just know you're gonna have to go through some shit,
right?
And you'll be a better comic and a person for it, probably.
That's true.
It also helps when a headliner like him gives you like a nugget of hope.
Yes.
And what he said to me was, he goes, Isaac, you're funny enough. He's like, first of all, I want you to feature for me when we go to Tampa.
Nice.
And so I'm going there Halloween to feature for him, and I'm going Saturday this weekend to do a guest spot in Stir Crazy in Phoenix to try and like showcase a little bit for the guy there.
Okay.
And he was basically telling me, like, just, you're funny enough that if you listen to me and everything I say, you'll be full-time on the road in like a year.
Okay.
And I was like, dude, that would be my dream. I'm like, I don't even care if I make less than I make now. Like, as long as I'm surviving and I'm just doing comedy-related stuff, I will be the happiest person ever. Because then I can call my mom and dad and say with confidence, Mom, Dad, I'm a comedian.
Right, exactly.
Like, for real this time.
Well, okay. So how did you meet your now ex-wife? Because you were doing comedy then, right?
Yeah, I actually headlined the back room of...
Tell me she was a stripper.
Of Deja Vu, no. The back room of the Comedy Palace. They started doing shows in the back room, and it was like, this is what should have been a red flag right off the bat, was she was dating the guy who produced the show. And then, like, after I got done performing, like, she, like, broke up with him, like, the next day, and then, like, hit me up.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, yeah.
Girl, I'm gonna marry her.
Yeah, it's the first thing that came out of my mouth. It was like, I'm gonna marry this bitch. And she's gonna fuck me over. But no, she, we met that night, and she, like, was the one, there was, like, 11 people in the crowd. I did, like, 45 minutes. And she laughed at, like, all my jokes except for, like, one or two. And I was on this big, like, anti-woman mindset at that point in time. Like, some other chick would, whatever, pissed me off about something. And I just ranted about it. Yeah, fucking white girls, dude. Mm-hmm. White girls named Stephanie in particular. Ooh. For some reason, I always get those. But, anyway, she came... I said what's up to her afterwards, and I was just like, that was back when I had a lot of confidence with women, too.
Okay.
Not so much right now. Working on it, but wing woman, you're there for me.
Wing woman,
you know?
Boom.
And she told me she had broken up the next day, like, with that guy, and I just, like, asked her out immediately. And, like, we fell in love in, like, a week, and I let her know on, like, our third date. I was like, look, within the next, like, 6 months, I'm going to move to either LA or New York City to pursue this dream of mine. And if you can't do that with me, I'm going to need to know now so I can end this. I don't want to be, like, to have any guilt and, like, problems between us. So it'd be better to end it now if it's going to end. Mm-hmm. And she was like, no, I'm all in. Like, I'll move with you. We'll get a little place together, da-da-da. And then when we got divorced, I'm not joking, she literally said, you know, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, I don't think I could be with someone in this industry. Ooh. I was like, bitch, the third date, I asked you.
I told you.
You should have just said no, and we could have avoided this.
It was a spoiler alert right there.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, I'm telling you the ending of this story. If you don't like it, stop reading now.
Well, but that's how you learn how like conniving some people can be.
Which is,
I won't say women, I'll say people.
No, and it's true. Like women and men, and that's hard for me too because I'm a very genuine person.
Yeah,
and
I thought she was.
And that's another thing that's hard for me is like when I tell people I'm going to do something, I do it. And like even with this podcast, people are like, I want to be on your podcast, I want to massage, and then they flake out, and I'm like, wait, but that's not how. So that is my learning curve right now. I need to learn that not everybody means what they say.
Well, but let me tell you something though. Okay. This is where it gets tricky because you are a genuine person, but you do things because you legitimately want to do them.
Yes.
There's no ulterior motive. But that's the thing with her, why I thought she was really honest and genuine, is like she would do all kinds of things for me and for people, but like with resentment behind it.
Right.
But trying to play it off like she wasn't. Because she didn't even know how resentful she was.
Right.
So she'd be like doing something for me, and I'd ask her to do something just like as a favor, like you can say no, it's not. And she's like, no, I got it, I love you, I'll do it. And then it's like she really is hating the fact that she has to do this right now.
Right.
Like in my head, I'm like, I didn't realize that. I was just so in love, and being in that relationship and getting divorced taught me one very important thing. And both of you ladies could probably back me up on this. It's more important to see what you don't have in common with someone than what you do.
Yes. Mm-hmm. John and I are the complete opposites. Like, he took the 4.5-year plan in high school. I graduated and did the high school graduation speech and went straight into college. And I've never done drugs. John's done enough for both of us. And yeah, we are the complete opposites. But when it comes to stuff that I need, like him being supportive, him being behind my dreams,
yep.
Like he's been to almost every author signing, every big
yep.
show I've done. And yeah, it's important.
And that's what matters. On that deeper scale, are you guys, that's where it's like, are you guys on the same level? Are you guys vibing? Do you have the same understanding of the principles of your relationship and how they work?
And are you going to grow together?
Right.
You're not the same person you
right.
were 10 years ago. And
exactly.
You don't want to be. Like, who wants to be the same person?
Yeah, and she, like, admitted she married me for, like, my potential, like, at the end of the marriage. And I was like, that's the worst reason to marry anybody.
John, that is so funny. John's ex-wife told him, I married you because of the person you wanted to be. Like,
right.
your dreams.
Right.
And I was like, what a cuntwad
right
there.
Yep. And what a cunty thing to say at the end.
Yes.
Like if you say that at the beginning, then I go, oh, so we should not be together, right?
Right.
We should probably.
Or she's not going to like me if I don't achieve what I want to achieve.
But so anyway, yeah, so like she was the perfect example of like why I believe that statement, about just knowing what you don't want in someone versus what you want. Because if you see someone and everything you want in them, and then you fall for them, it overshadows all this. It masks all the defects that person has.
Right, and you know what the good thing though is? Every failed relationship allows you to see your hard don't.
Right,
like your hard passes.
Yes, exactly.
Like, nope, I'm not going to go with that. Nope, I don't go with that.
Like, I can see the signs. That's why I don't get in relationships as much these days. I'm like, I can see the signs. I'm trying not to be too bitter about it.
Right.
But I can see the signs. I can see what's going to happen, where this is going to go bad if we don't, like, turn the ship around,
Right.
But, like, so, for example, specific example here. So my ex-wife and I were big, like, nerds about, like, a lot of sci-fi and fantasy stuff.
Uh-huh.
So, like, we both loved going to, like, Harry Potter World. We had, like, Universal, like, annual passes. We both loved growing up, like, watching the same Disney movies and stuff.
Uh-huh.
We're both musicians. So we would play together and, like, harmonize. And I'd play guitar and she'd sing and we harmonized. And, like, we sounded really good. Like, people would tip us and, like, fucking, people loved us.
Right.
And we were like Lord of the Rings nerds. Like we had all these Lord of the Rings themed stuff in our house. Like our vows, get this, our vows when we got married were like very Lord. Like literally one of her lines was like I know that you will be my king on the way to Mordor.
Holy
like all the
shit.
demons, none of the orcs in the world can like we were that nerdy.
Demonology stuff right there.
There we go, full circle, bitches. And we were literally that dorky. But I loved it. I loved every aspect of it because I could be myself around her uninhibited.
Uh-huh.
And what I thought was that she wasn't judging me. And I'm not going to, like, say that it's all her fault. It's like 99%. No, but seriously. But no, like I had I never ever have hit a woman. I never will. But I have a temper, and we'd get in shouting matches sometimes. But her abuse from her childhood and from her ex-husband before me, and like physical abuse, emotional abuse, she's just like a tortured soul. Mm-hmm. And I didn't figure out until we got divorced, like how she's got like certain suicidal tendencies and like all this stuff. I just wasn't aware of how deep it ran, you know?
Right.
So then we ended up, it's, at this point I look at it like I dodged a bullet, you know? Because now I have the freedom to do what I want, free of judgment. There's no like I start thinking, my dad was like, could you imagine, Isaac, if you would have had a kid with her?
Right.
Or if you would have continued down this path with her, like how bad things would have, you'd have been like 40 and achieved like nothing from your dreams.
Right.
And now that we've been divorced for like a year to a year and a half now, like all of a sudden I'm like booking all this stuff, like
there you go.
I've been hanging out with like Taylor Williamson, thank you, and like he wants to take me to La Jolla to feature, or to open like Thanksgiving weekend, and you know, like I said, I'm going with Eric to Tampa.
Right.
Some guy saw my last set on Potluck this past Monday and came up to me and was like, I run this show in Palm Springs, I'll pay you like $300 to headline.
Hell yeah.
And I was like, dude, it's all starting to come together now.
Good. And that's how it should be. And that is the happy ending.
Yay.
So say all your Twitter stuff, and then we will end on this.
Good God, it's hot. Twitter stuff.
Or anything.
At Isak Allen, ISAKALLEN. On Twitter, on Instagram, it's at the Isak Allen. That's the words "the" than what I said earlier.
There you go.
And I do a podcast that I'm going to have Joy and Emily on at some point.
Yes.
Called Bored with Comics, BOARD. You can subscribe on iTunes and also sign up on Patreon for only $5 a month. You get all the unlimited bonus footage, which includes like video and then the extra interview portion that's not on the iTunes version. And basically, it's BOARD. We play board games with comedians.
Nice.
And it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of shit talking and a lot of accusations, like with your family.
That's awesome.
And it's a good time. Other than that, yeah, like I said, I'm just gigging around. Come to the Comedy Store every Monday. It's free.
Yay. All right. Hope you relax. Goodbye.
Thank you. I'm relaxed.
All right, that was that episode, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, anything, especially on iTunes. I really need to get my iTunes up. Follow me on social media. Email me if you have anything or any suggestions. joyshappyendings.com, and have a great day.